guys, how are we blooming today? It's your girl Enchantress, the Gypsy Lotus of Uniqueness, and I am back with another. Oh, it don't make no sense for me to be wrapped up like this, but I'm back with another How the Lotus Bloom. And I mean, this could technically really be What the Hill too, because this really does go for everybody. I feel like my voice is deep, baby. Like, oh, let me stop. But anyway, last little burst of time. I got a close friends holding me accountable for my surrender season, which I'm gonna make a video about my surrender season soon. But this is not what that's gonna be about. So as we are winding up on a new year, I want to talk about just changing our perspective when it comes to shortcomings or not getting our way or not achieving things in the way or where you the moments where you feel like you can't see the growth. That's what I want to talk about today. So I'm gonna try to make this quick because the later it's getting, the more that sun goes down, the colder I am. So I want to just have a moment of real raw honesty, which I always been having a moment of real raw honesty. But just because I know like 2025 was one of them ones. It was the year of the snake. Like a lot of us really shed a lot. A lot of us really went through a lot this year, okay? Especially Virgo, Sag, Gemini, Pisces. Okay, we really went through a lot, but I feel like everybody went through a lot this year. And that's part of the reason I'm making this video, because I know I'm not alone in this. So me being me, I've had like a lot of breakdowns. Like I don't know what the fuck going on in my life, and things are changing, shifting, and all this other stuff. And even me just failing my test again for the fucking multiple times. Like, and I'm literally just not used to failing. Like I'm not, but I have to again change my perspective. Like, okay, this is more than just me failing the test. Like this is something that like I'm supposed to learn something. So that's why I'm even saying like when it comes to shortcomings, when we go back and as we recapping our year and and maybe we are seeing people because social media is such a damn place. When you see all those people posting their recap and they are showing all, then that's the thing. That's why I even make my page, because a lot of people aren't going to talk about their shortcomings. A lot of people aren't going to show you the bad things that happen to them. But when you if you had a rough year and you're getting on social media and you're seeing everybody post all their accomplishment and all these good things that happened to them, please understand that even if it wasn't this year that they went through a lot, and even a lot of them could have accomplishments in this year that still went through hell this year. Like it doesn't matter. That's also why you just don't need to be comparing yourself to anybody else's journey. Like we all have our own separate journeys for a reason, right? But I just really want us to, because I even had a moment, I wasn't comparing, but I was talking to one of my sisters and she was like, I'm so proud of myself for this year. Like I really did everything and da 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 da. And I'm sitting in my head like, yeah, everything I said I was gonna accomplish this year, I didn't accomplish shit. And I did like I did have a moment where I cried because I'm like, damn, like, but I started beating up on myself. And that's why it's so important. That's why I'm even here to tell you, like, we can't do that. And I know it's easier said than done, but you have to change your perspective when it comes to those things, because I could say I didn't accomplish nothing this year, but I've been consistent on this channel. I've been more in my business. I introduced a new product line. I even started making products. Like I've grown in so many ways, even um beyond the physical, beyond materialistic things, beyond things that are tangible and stuff like that. Like even if it doesn't feel like maybe what I set out to do this year didn't happen, that doesn't mean that I'm a failure or anything. It doesn't mean I'm just not worthy of it. It doesn't mean that next year I can't go back to that same list. Like I could still accomplish everything I want to accomplish. Sometimes God just got to sit you down. Sometimes you just got to go through certain things and realize the bigger lesson, what it's supposed to be, But yeah, in this holiday season, in the cold, where it gets dark, where a lot of us do start sitting in darkness, we have to really remember to not let that be. You can't succumb to the darkness. You can't be. You can't. Break just falling. You can't allow that energy to just override everything. Like you really have to find gratitude in every moment. I've said that multiple times too. Like you really do have to learn how to have gratitude and learn that, I've really gotten to a point. That's probably why it is easy for like I'll probably only cry for like a couple minutes and I'm like, okay, girl, get out of it. Like, because I've really grown to understand that like everything truly does happen for a reason. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, everything happens for a reason. Like a lot of us had to shed, a lot of us had to have breaking points or be broken down to this point so that next year or the years to come or the months to come, anything, we are ready and prepared to handle what we want. You know, sometimes you have to, maybe you weren't prepared to handle the blessings that you was asking for. And then sometimes what you think you asking for is not what you really want. Because trust and believe, there's plenty of times where people think they got a blessing and then a couple months later they realize that blessing was still another lesson because it's not what you want for real. So that's why we have to have the moments of really surrendering. That's why we have to have the moments where we really just allow God to take the wheel and do what they're going to do, because you never know what you asking for. Your plan and God's plan are always going to be two different things. It might have similarities, but God's plan and your plan are always going to be different. Um, which I guess I could piggyback on, you know, my surrender season. So I'm now moving into, because this is how the Lotus moves. So I'm showing you how I'm about to get through feeling like, I'm trying not to say a failure because I don't even want to label myself as that, because that's like allowing the energy to be true, and that's not true. I'm not a failure. Um, but I am allowing it to, because even like I kept saying like I'm a surrender, but I still was trying to like have my way. I was still trying to like kind of do things just to get certain results, and that's just not how you're supposed to be. So let me just tell you a little bit about my surrender season. So I'm not gonna necessarily like full like tell everything in full, because some of that is again between me and God. But surrender season, it's gonna be me and God for a while, for real, for real. And I've made, like, the Virgo in me can't help but to make a schedule, but I've also gotten comfortable with, even if I make a to-do list, if I don't necessarily do everything on that to-do list, it's okay. Giving myself grace, not be beating myself up just because, oh my God, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You're not doing, like, you're not surrendering to God for real if you didn't know. Because if anything, me surrendering to God is me being okay with the pivots, being okay not doing everything all the time. Actually taking a moment to rest and give my mind a break, and I don't have to be on go 24/7. I don't have to be constantly working and moving and doing things just to feel productive. um and that's something I struggle with, because if I'm not busy, I really feel like, what am I doing in my life if I'm not busy? But rest is needed. Certain thing I really was sat down for a reason. um so I made a schedule, and even like technically that schedule, I was supposed to start waking up at 3:30 in the morning. I have yet. I was supposed to start surrender season. When was my actual date to start? It was like in the teens, honestly. It might have been like the 15th or some shit, for real, for real. But I still have yet to actually get up at 3:30 in the morning. And then even now I have pushed it to like, okay, well 4:30, until I, once I get comfortable with 4:30, then I will push it back again. But and even the 4:30 technically still ain't really been happening. It's been, you know, like 5 a.m. ish, 6 a.m. ish, for real, for real. But I'm giving myself grace in that. I even put a section of the time frames to be strictly a mental break or rest, like really be able to switch gears, calm my brain from that morning to switch to the afternoon to be back busy, you know? Um, so I made myself a schedule. I'm still giving myself grace and honoring myself if I don't feel up to that schedule fully. Because even my afternoons is technically supposed to be my productive time. This morning, I was more productive this morning than I am this afternoon. I mean, that's why I got up on my I mean, let me not say I got off my ass and did this, but I originally wasn't going to record today until somebody was holding me accountable, and my close friends that I would say that I made just to hold me accountable for my surrender season. Um, and I'm making my surrender season. Should I tell you the length of my surrender season? That's a no. But I will say, oh, that's a no. But I will say it's gonna be more than half the year. My surrender season is gonna be more than half of 2026. So it might fuck around and be the whole 2026, but it's not really about that big this whole year though. But I'm allowing myself to truly be led by God without me trying to manipulate, or I mean, let me not even say manipulate, because it's not like I really was trying to manipulate, but me trying to force certain things basically is like I'm trying to manipulate spirit to move in a certain way, and I'm not trying to. I wasn't trying to intentionally, for sure, but that's why it even got to this point where it's like, okay, you keep saying you surrender, you saying you trust, but are you really trusting? Are you really surrendering? I had to get that. that lesson real quick. Like, no, I wasn't. Oh my god, my one section of sun is gone. But but yeah, I look good though. Let me stop. But um yeah, so we just really have to shift our perspective. And I always say perspective matters, perspective matters. I made a video a couple months ago about this, but really, like, even the shortcomings, you really have to be able to say, like, everything is not necessarily a shortcoming. That's why we even made what the hell, what the heavy energy around love, what is that heavy energy around anything? Because it's not always a negative thing. It's always a one where instead of saying, what the fuck, why the fuck is this happening to me? What am I supposed to learn? What is the lesson in this? What am I supposed to take from this? Because everything is not meant to come easy. Everything is not meant to be sunshine and rainbows. And even how are you gonna ever how can you really grow in life if everything was always good and perfect and peaches and creams? It's not realistic. Like, you need the bad to go with the good. It's how the world balances. You need the negative and the positive. That's how things balance. It's mandatory. So you can't just expect, oh my God, everything got to be good, 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 good. No, it's not always going to happen that way. And we got to get out of that. Because you could pray, you could pray, you could pray, but there's still going to be, because even when I'm sure when I have my surrender season, I get up out of it and I do have all these good things happening, there's still going to be some bullshit along the way at some point. It just genuinely cannot always be sunshine and rainbows when we talking about life. It can't always be sunshine and rainbows when we're talking about healing. It can't be sunshine and rainbows when we're talking about growth. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to go. You can't grow through nothing if you're not going through nothing. If you don't experience nothing bad, how are you gonna get through any situation? You get wisdom from going through shit. If you can't go through some shit and learn a lesson, where the fuck are where are you getting wisdom from? How would you ever be wise? What knowledge will you gain if you didn't have to go through nothing? If everything was handed to you, if everything was just easy coming, what the fuck are you really learning? Genuinely, just think about that. Like, but don't, when you go back and you're reflecting over your year and you feel like, okay, I didn't accomplish, maybe you have real big goals and you really thought you was gonna accomplish them. Cause that's me. I thought I knew this year was gonna be that one. Mm, no. Now next year it's gonna be that one. I know it's gonna be that one because I had to shed. There are certain versions of me that cannot go into the next year. There are certain versions of me that wouldn't have been able to handle everything that I was asking for. And now I have I understand that now. I wasn't understanding that before, but now I see, and now I'm very clear on what that is, and that's why we have a surrender season. So that's all I got for you for how the Lotus bloom, and that's how I'm about to get through this. I actually recommend everybody kind of set up their own surrender season. Sit with your ancestors, altar, Bible, whatever you believe in. Um, and just have a moment where you really sit in meditation or sit in silence, sit in stillness, and really just ask, how can I surrender to you? What will my surrender season look like? And really just start writing, because that's basically what I did. I basically was just like, what do I need to do to really get where I want to go? And the first thing that ended up getting written was surrender season, and then a time frame, and then everything just started coming. So I recommend everybody make a surrender season. Inform fact, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 6, like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like you get in that meditation while you're sitting in stillness, and I mean really sitting with stillness, so that you know it's really coming. It's you and God season. Whatever you have to do to feel like you're really sitting with God in that moment, do that and start journaling what your surrender season will be. Okay. All right. Healing gets messy before it gets magical, but you are worthy of all the light and happiness that is waiting for you on the other side. Adjust your crown. Don't let it tilt. I love you. I hope you love you.